There, this is where we have a bit of fun. And you can see that what we got in there looks like a burrow. So some little beastie has probably been burrowing his way through, burrowing his way through the sand. You can see that it's not only darker, it's got flecks of charcoal in. The flecks of charcoal will have been brought down from this layer up here. So all that is much, much darker. That is going to have ended up in there. That's what's caused that to be much darker. Charcoal is very, very distinctive. Charcoal is very, very important. Charcoal is very, very indicative of where fires have been. Fires can start naturally, but basically, I was going to say, what species or what animal creates most fires? We do.
Yeah.
And so if you've got charcoal, it's a good indicator. But once you've got that charcoal, you go, charcoal, that's good. The next question is, what's it doing there? It's not a question of saying we've got charcoal, what's it doing there? In that case, we have to think, well, it shouldn't be down that far. You then put your knowledge of what you've been through. I know this has been heavily rooted, a lot of worm action, burrows and what have you, and that helps explain how that charcoal got down there. So, do you want to take out some more of the rest of it? You might as well do it. I don't see why I should. What it's got to be, you've always got to make sure that it's clean. So if you can't see a clean surface, it's not clean enough.
Does that count as a find?
Well, it does. It counts as a redeposited find, yes. But then again, you see, once you've got it, you then say to yourself, what's it doing there? And you still ask yourself the same questions. Because the most important question is not a simple matter of shifting the muck. It's a matter of shifting the muck and thinking. What am I digging? Why am I digging it? Where are the finds coming from? And then that brings us into that most crucial of all words, context. And if you go and ask any archaeologist about a find, the first thing they always say is, where did it come from? If you don't know where it comes from, it has no meaning at all. It might be a nice coin, it might be a nice axe, it might be a nice anything. Until somebody tells you where it comes from, and that then is, how did it get there, what's it doing there? Oh yeah, you should have found, you found loads of those from there, yeah, that's all right.
Yes, you'd expect to find it in that location.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, that's coming. I mean, we need to speed up a bit, or we will need. No, I say, I mean, this is like one of these times, like we only got 3 days.
Well, Ed would hate to skim over something really important.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good to get a feel of it. And the thing of it is, you see, with a trowel, what you can do is, it becomes an extension of your arm. It really does become an extension to your arm. And so, if you think about your hand, and if you were doing it by excavating by hand, your fingers would be very, very sensitive. And so you'd be feeling about the texture. You'd think, that's slightly greasier, that's slightly grittier, that's slightly stonier. Now, you can do that with a trowel. Because sometimes you've got to really grip the trowel and you've got to really rip it. At other times you can afford to be more relaxed about it, and you can take it off. And people just think that it's a tool to dig with. It's more than a tool to dig with. It is an extension to your body. I mean, there is, of course, yet another phase that I haven't told you about. But we need to. Yeah, rule 1A. do not stand on the edge of the trench because you would destroy the section.
Oh, naughty.
It used to be, up until a few years ago, a hanging offence, but unfortunately they did away with that form of punishment.
Public
Yeah,
humiliation.
I know. Keep that camera rolling. Yeah?
I get on with some work.
Yeah, I think you had. Right. The other thing is, of course, that as you get closer to the edge there, think very, very carefully about the section. The section is very, very important. It is the third dimension in any form of archaeology. And archaeology is a three-dimensional process. It's not just a matter of going down, it's a question of seeing what you are going down through. So that the side of your trench will always be a mirror of what you're digging away. And so that should be clean. Not only should it be clean, but it should be vertical. So what one needs to do is actually to clean the section that way. And you should clean it, it should be as clean as the bottom of the trench. And of course you can see here that here we've got this sort of light grey clay, and you can see that that runs along there. That's a layer we went through, and you can see it coming round here. Now, can you hear that?
Yes.
What's it sound like?
Gravelly, flinty.
Does it sound soft or hard?
Sounds hard.
Sounds hard. Yeah? Now if you do,
Yeah, that's sort of,
hey? You see?
Yeah.
And so you could do that, you standing up there, not having anything to do with that trowel, you could work out the distinctions between those layers just by the sound of them. And so that's another thing with archaeology. It's not just a matter of doing this and a matter of looking at it. You can also hear the difference.
I hadn't even thought of that. No, but sometimes when you see the sort of, it's pointed out on the television programmes and there's this layer and this layer, and you look at it and think,
Well, that's it. I mean, people say to me, I don't know, people say to me that, oh, you make it look very, very easy or something like that. And oftentimes you don't actually know. It's because you have been doing it so long, you don't realise what's happening up here. But somehow or another, this organ, the brain, is doing something, and it's doing it instinctively, just like when you drive a car or something like that. You just, somehow or another, how do you know when to change gear? Well, you just do,
yeah.
Yes.
and if you start analysing it, somehow or another, you actually, there is a reason for doing it, but you just don't think about it. You just do it so instinctively. And so that's the same with that. And so it is that that thing, like you say. Well, I wouldn't have thought of that. But it is an interesting thing. It's not just and you can, perhaps if I'm supervising somebody else in a trench, and of course, like I say, I know I'm sort of overdoing it now just to make it, that should be a corner. That's two vertical faces coming together. That is a vertical face coming together with a horizontal surface.